Hi my dear YouTubers, and again questions and answers on immigration to Canada. Another interesting question is accompanying spouse work permit. Well, will I be able to obtain the work permit to Canada if, say, my spouse, my wife or my husband goes to Canada for study? What should I do? Or another situation, say my spouse, again husband or wife, comes to Canada for work, got an invitation from an employer, he or she comes to work, will I be able to get that work permit? Main point here and main misunderstanding we hear from most of the applicants. Please understand that work permit for accompanying spouse is a privilege, it's not a right. It does not mean that if your spouse gets a study permit to go to a college in Toronto or in Vancouver, you would be granted work permit to go with him or with her. No, you would be granted a right to apply for a work permit. You will not be allowed to get it automatically. It does not necessarily mean that if your spouse's study or work permit has been given to her like that, you will be granted it, okay? Do not mix it up. Do not assume that if you apply both, say your spouse would get a study permit and you will automatically get that work permit. We see situations from time to time when a spouse, say, gets her study permit or his study permit and second partner gets nothing or gets refused. Do not mix it up, please. Same question, more or less close question, I would say, when somebody comes in here, studies, say, for a year out of 2, and asks us a question, will I be able, not be able to invite my spouse? There is no such a thing as an invitation for a spouse simply because you're in a temporary status in Canada. Again, it's a privilege, it's not a right. So you are allowed to ask whatever you would like to, but circumstances differ from case to case and not necessarily you would be granted that work permit. But if you are granted, this work permit would be open, meaning that you would be allowed to work for any employer in Canada without limitations, and you would be allowed to seek for a job anywhere you would like to in Canada. So please understand that, again, it's a privilege, it's not a right, and if you would like to do everything right, either ask us or come to us for assessment or do everything yourself, and if you would like to, you can come to us for legal consultation. Stay tuned with us. Ask questions, we'll be glad to help.